You know, in the past month, we've hosted Joe Russo, the head women's coach at the college in New Jersey, Erica Dombach, the head coach at Penn State, Maddie Evans, the assistant coach at Westchester, Eric Wagner, the head men's coach at Swarthmore. And tonight, our guest is Jess Manala, the head coach at St. Joseph's. Jess and I go back a long time. When I was teaching and coaching at Strathaven, she was a player, a really strong player. And I watched her in her early years as a coach. I was always impressed because she embraced U.S. coaching education and has had success at every level. And I think she's a great role model for girl players and also girls who aspire to be women coaches someday. So I'm happy to have her on board. So if you take a look at our next slide, you can see the success she's had. 20 years, that's a long time to be at one place, which I think is important. And she's had success everywhere she's been. I do want to mention too, though, in addition to all these things about St. Joe's and soccer, don't you do some community programs that you help out with, Jess? Service project at St. Joe's?
Yeah, well, we always are running different service projects. The one that we're really once COVID's over, we're trying to start something that I was starting to talk to you about, of trying to build soccer near us in West Philly. Like there's Gompers Elementary School that's right next to us. So we want to start building a youth program there. So that's one of the things we do, but we do lots of different things. We've done top soccer. We've done service is a huge part of the St. Joseph's philosophy and the Jesuit philosophy. So we always are kind of doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's great to hear you getting involved with the elementary school, because we're trying to make inroads in the city. We're not reaching the African-American population in the city, and
exactly.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
The other thing, in addition to your regular schedule, I know you take trips sometimes internationally and also out to the West Coast. Could you describe them?
Yeah, so basically since my first year at St. Joe's, we've gone on a trip every 4 years. We were supposed to go this spring break, so we were going to go to Greece, but my team's super bummed, but at least they get a season. So we're excited about having a season, which is great. But we've gone, our first trip was to Oslo, Norway. We've been to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. For what was next? Barcelona. Then we went to, the last one we went to, which was 4 years ago, was Milan. Wow. And Como. So that one was awesome. And I was pregnant during that one. So all I did was eat pasta and watch some soccer. So,
that sounds okay to me.
Yeah.
Not being pregnant, just eating the pasta.
Yeah. And gelato.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about the difference between, say, a Division II school where you're at, Westchester, and a Division I school like St. Joe's.
Honestly, when I was at Westchester, I feel like, and again, we're talking 20 years ago, but the commitment was the same out of our players, like we had 20 games, we had a spring season, things like that. So, but I didn't have scholarships. So that was, you have some at Westchester. Luckily, Westchester's a lot cheaper than St. Joe's. Mm-hmm. So that helped, but it wasn't, but Westchester has scholarship, but at that time, but it wasn't a lot. So it was hard to compete that way. But Westchester, oh, you had Maddie, right? Yeah, Westchester is awesome. It has a great town and all of those things. So I know they're able to get a lot of talented players because of that.
They have a good coaching staff.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about scholarships in a little bit, but sure. When you have parents come to St. Joe's, for visit with players you're recruiting, in addition to all the statistics on the next slide about how strong St. Joe's is, what do you tell them that makes St. Joe's special as opposed to other schools that kids may be looking at?
I think, honestly, the most, to me, I think the Jesuit education is huge. You get a liberal arts education, so you get a little bit of everything. And having the double major, what is less listed there, and we have a service background. So and again, you can choose that or not choose that, but what's great about it is like we have people who take classes that are also doing service in, like one of the things that one of my players has done is worked at the needle exchange and with students who are, in the inner city where, this one's a little bit controversial, but like for like just to give clean needles to drug users, I'm just saying for an example. And one of my players also, there's this huge service project every spring break called Team Appalachia, and they do, they go to the Appalachian Trail and do work on the Appalachian Trail. And then the other thing that I tell everyone that's my favorite part about St. Joe's is you feel like a family. You can ask any alum, like it is seriously, you'll see a professor anywhere and they're willing to help you. They care that you play soccer. They care about you as a person. And, I had the same boss for a very long time, Don DeJulia, and he had this family culture, and I have a new boss, Jill Bodenstetter, and it hasn't changed. Like they care about you as a person. Like right now at St. Joe's, we have our own like sports psychologist and we have every player gets the call app because they know mental health is so important.
Yeah, I've always known the reputation of St. Joe's, and I always thought of it being more of a family university.
Yeah.
But I think for parents deciding whether or not their daughter should go there should feel a real sense of comfort knowing that's the type of university it is. Yeah. But looking at these stats, St. Joe's is a great school. Can we go to the next slide? So here's a little bit of information about the team. Jess has been a coach, is it 20 years now, Jess?
Yeah, this is my 20th season.
And they had 3 years previous to you coming on, right? Or 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
And obviously you've had a lot of success, and they're mentioning these girls. Like, can you tell us anything about Dakota Mills?
Oh, what can I not say about Dakota Mills? Dakota Mills was amazing. She just was a natural goal scorer. She was a great, she was just a presence on the field. She could win balls. She was fast. She was strong. She was good in the air. So she could score. Like people are always scared because she was good in the air, but she also could score on the dribble or score from outside the 18. And so she was just dangerous in all sorts of ways that made her so special. And that sophomore year, which was her 2016 season, she scored in the first minute of her first game. Like she just was so dangerous. So
where did she come from?
She played for FC Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's from Jersey, Hightstown, New Jersey, but she did play for FC Bucks.
Easy recruit then, huh?
Yeah.
That's good. So you've been facing a pandemic, like many other colleges. How's it affected your team, your schedule, training, and recruiting?
All right, I'll start with our team's been resilient, which is awesome. We were very lucky that we didn't play games in this fall, but we were very lucky that our school was in session, and we basically I'd say we started September 7th, let's just say, and we did technical training in groups of pods of 10 all the way till November 1st. So I got very creative. I Googled a lot and YouTubed a lot, and just because that's a lot of technical training.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, but it was great because at least we got to be together. And then starting November 1st, we had 3 weeks of team training. So we finally got to get together. And then by the end, we had like a crimson gray day. So I think the hardest thing for them is, obviously, but what's great is, and now we're starting our season. So it's funny, I wrap my head, around, okay, this season's not going to be normal, right? Like we're going to be in and out of pauses. I'm never going to know who's going to be at my game, and that's okay. But then I didn't think in my head that my first game's going to be canceled because of snow.
I know, I saw that. I thought the irony was unbelievable.
I was so upset. I was like, and the Temple coach was so upset because they've worked so hard, and they're, for all of you, right? It's such like an up and down mental thing right now. And so all of our outlets is soccer, and the most fun part of soccer are these games. And then we look forward to it, and then snow. And now we have a scrimmage on Friday, and we don't have very many places to put the snow that's coming tonight. So hopefully it's not too much.
Wow. So how many weeks of preseason training did you get this morning?
I'll be honest, we had before our Temple game, we had 4 days. Then my team had to be on pause for 2 days because one of my players had COVID. And then we played again for 2 days, and then we had a snowstorm where we were out for 3. And then we played 2 more days, and then we were supposed to have a game, and that was canceled. So
Wow.
all in all, we've had like 7, but this week we've trained Tuesday, Wednesday, and then hopefully tomorrow, but who knows? And then we'll
Right.
play Friday, practice, like a recovery practice on Saturday, and then a game on Sunday. That's the plan.
You said you have a game on Friday?
We're going to do St. Francis was able to come, and now we get a scrimmage, which is great because we haven't played a game since last November. We were able to squeeze in LaSalle in the spring season so right around this time we played LaSalle last year. So we did at least have a game a year ago, but they haven't played games in a year. Probably the only people who played games are my freshmen because maybe they played. No one has really. So yeah.
Some high school teams had no.
Yeah, so maybe they did a little
bit. But I was looking at your roster. You have a roster of 27. Is it still the same?
Yep, still 27.
And I noticed 8 were from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So could you give us an idea where you're looking to recruit from?
Yeah, St. Joe's naturally, like if we look at the demographics of St. Joseph, Eastern PA is huge. Plus I played in Eastern PA. I have a huge, like, I don't know, what is the word, like affection towards Eastern PA. So we're all, and I love Eastern PA players. So I think that's one of the places that we're always looking anywhere in that area. So so that's one. And then 2, South Jersey is probably our next like big place. That's the majority of my team is South Jersey.
Yeah, I noticed you had some from Ohio, one from New York.
Right. So the rest is like whether we went to a GA tournament or we've gone to GA, we've watched regionals, we've watched ECNL, things like that. And then next year we do have 3 internationals coming.
Have you seen them play?
One.
Okay.
The other 2 we saw on video, but one's on the Norwegian national team.
Ah.
And, yeah, she's a goalkeeper, and one is she got the Golden Boot for Montreal and is on the Canadian Rex program.
So how do you get in contact with them?
Just a recruiting service, just emailed us, and then and that's how. And then we watch video. We've been watching, like, if it was last year and you guys asked me if I'm going to watch video, I would say no way, don't. Maybe send a YouTube clip or something like that. But now I'd say, yeah, we watch video.
Yeah, what choice do you have?
Yeah.
So those states being represented. So I would imagine, though, this year for you, recruiting wise, was really difficult since you didn't get a chance to see anybody play. I know you only have 5 freshmen. 5 seniors this year graduating. Yeah. So I guess your recruiting class won't be that big. But tell us about how you recruited over the fall, with the way things are going with the pandemic.
What's hard is that all our players have this extra year too. So you have this dilemma that you want a class, you need a class. So I want to have a class of 4, at least 4 coming in. But I have at least 2, maybe 3 seniors that want to stay. So it's this weird thing that we're trying to figure out, like our finances and what makes most sense. And so what we did was we relied heavily on what we saw basically in January all the way up through January for 21. And we already had 3 committed at that time. I'm trying to think. One person is from Penn. They're all signed, so I can say, like, Lauren Hatz from Penn Fusion, and the other 2 are from South Jersey. So those 3 were already signed, and then in the meantime, we were already in the mix. Oh, and the Norwegian goalkeeper was supposed to come this year, but she deferred her enrollment because of COVID, which I think was the smartest thing. It made it.
Yeah, I think so too. So let me get this straight though. If your seniors this year play in the spring, they're still entitled to play in the fall.
Yeah, every single one of them gets an extra year. I mean,
Wow.
every single person on my roster gets an extra year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So if I'm a freshman, I could look at 5 years?
Yes.
Wow,
And
that's
start
amazing.
planning programs to have 5 years or go. What's great is, and you know, universities now have these certificate programs, which are amazing. So you could go for your 4 years and then get a certificate in like finance or something like that, that just looks, it's only 1 year and it's an added resume. One of my players, Sophia Filippo, she's from Bucks. She went to Villa Joe. She is going to do a 5th year, and she's going to get her master's in marketing in 1 whole year.
Wow.
I know. So that, why wouldn't she do it? You know, like it's a great opportunity. So as far as like recruiting, what we've been doing for like the younger years, like 21s will still kind of, you know, someone sends the video, we'll look at it and say,
Sure.
you know, we'll say, hey, sure, we're interested, or let's see a little bit more, or maybe they've already been to our clinics and we have an idea. And then for 22s, we did the same thing. We do have 2 committed, but we saw them very early, and so we knew. And then the rest of 22s, we're just taking our time with. We're not going to make any, we're just going to hope that the dead period opens up and at some point, and we're just going to take our time and have patience, and we're hoping that the players have patience too, because it will all work out.
I know this is a whole different recruiting situation.
It is.
I guess all colleges have to adjust to.
Yeah, and I
So
feel bad for the players, honestly.
if you're talking to players, parents, what should be a good time when they mention to you that they have an interest in attending St. Joe's? What year in high school or even younger?
I would say their sophomore year, because sophomore year would be a good time, because I mean, honestly, we can watch, but we can't even bring people on campus and stuff till their junior year anyway. So the sophomore year is plenty of time to start like sending people information.
So in addition to videos you've been watching and obviously going to showcase events and things like that, do letters of recommendation help?
Yes, depending on like anyone I know, it helps, you know, like, and then anyone that I know that someone else knows. I mean, you know, like something like that. Like if, for example, someone got one from you, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
someone who I trust, that they trust. So that's another one. From like really good, you know, if your club team stands out or something like that, I'll do, like, for example, I got this video, I guess it was maybe a month ago, of this girl. She's a senior and is still trying to figure out what she's doing. And normally we'd be done, you know, like honestly, we'd be done. And I'm not saying we're not, but I just always am looking, right? Because who would want to turn down someone who's really good? That'd be crazy. And she was really good at basketball. She's really good at soccer. Like she was a state like champ and all of them, and MVP. And you're just like, well, you're a solid, I need to look more, you know, like, like I could tell by her video, and her coaches both are saying her character is great, because that's huge for me. Hardworking, great character. And then obviously she looks athletic. And again, it's hard to see on video how fast someone plays or something like that. So I just say, hey, maybe you can try out, or maybe, you know, that's kind of what we're doing right now with some 21s.
Have you seen most of your recruits being just soccer players in high school, or are there times they're playing other sports?
Most of our like recruits are usually one sport athletes, but we love multiple sport athletes. I especially like, I know it's hard to play basketball and soccer at the same time, but every basketball and soccer player we've had is awesome.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of kids experimenting playing sports until they're really sure that soccer's their sport or basketball's their sport.
I played soccer and lacrosse, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I loved it. Yeah.
My daughter Kristen did too.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Okay, here's the tough one now. I'd like you to explain to our audience how the scholarships work.
Okay,
How many you're entitled to as a Division I school,
okay,
and how they're spread out, and then eventually getting to the point where how many players actually have a full athletic scholarship.
sure.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
So the NCAA for Division I is 14. We only have 11. So, and we're literally third from the bottom in the A10, to be honest. So, I mean, over half have one more than us. So so we're like right there.
Uh-huh.
The good thing about St. Joe's is we have really good merit scholarships or academic scholarships.
Mhm.
So if you have like great grades and good SAT scores, we have players who have anywhere from 15,000 on merit, and I'm talking academic, to 28, 29,000. We have one of my players got the there's this awesome women and biology scholarship at St. Joe's, and she's on full tuition. So we kind of couple the academic piece with soccer. So on my team, there's no one that has a true only athletic full scholarship. I do have maybe, sorry, I can't think right now. I have 2 that are on a full out of 27 that are on a
Right.
full with athletic and merit combined. It just depends on how things kind of shake out sometimes. Whether how good their grades are, that always helps. Like
Sure.
the more you can concentrate on your academics, the more choices you're going to have anywhere. Not even at St. Joe's.
Right.
You can totally control or give yourself so many more options if you're doing well in school.
Okay, so you mentioned 11 scholarships, but could you explain how you spread it out?
Okay, so I try to bring in at least 4 every year on scholarship. So we'll have I don't know, 4 or 5. That's usually a plan. So we usually couple the athletic and the merit together to try and get it competitive with other schools' offers. That's kind of how we do it. And then we also have walk-ons all the time. I mean, we have walk-ons that come in and start, and our captains. I mean, this happens. We've
Wow.
had like one every other year. I mean, it's nuts. And we'll, which is awesome. And then we end up rewarding them. Most of the time, it's 3 sport athletes that didn't, were just like
Sure.
that we didn't get to see.
So those 11 scholarships though are spread out over 4 years, correct?
Yes. Oh, sorry. That's what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah, because I
So
think that's confusing to some parents.
well, so it's interesting because technically it's only a 1-year contract.
Right.
So technically you sign a contract for 1 year. The NCAA does allow you to do multiple year contracts still now, but we don't. But we are like, we have literally never taken a scholarship away. The only time we've taken your space at St. Joe's away, at our soccer team away, because of whether it's poor academics constantly. But we have this long list of warnings, like you would be warned and warned and warned and warned and warned, even disciplined, but we haven't ever taken anyone's scholarship away.
Can we go to the next slide? Oh, I'm sorry, we're good, hold on. So with the academic end, St. Joe still looks at SAT scores, academics, whatever they do in school to enhance.
You don't have to do your SATs though.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, but you do need it for NCAA.
Okay. So St. Joe's, you don't necessarily have to take your SATs.
Right.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's how, so if you're addressing kids going to school right now, it's important you keep your grades up academically because they'll have more value than even your
Right, because
SATs.
you could not take your SATs and still get a really good academic scholarship.
What are your expectations for the spring season?
Oh, honestly, I think what's really great is, I mean, interesting too, is we're in pods this year for the Atlantic 10. So there's 14 teams in the Atlantic 10. And normally we play 10 of them and the top 8 make it to the tournament and we play a tournament through that way. But this year, because of COVID, we're in 3 different pods, and our pod is LaSalle, Fordham, UMass, and Rhode Island, and we play everyone home and away, which it's interesting. We don't normally do that unless you make it to the tournament. So it's really hard to play someone twice, right? It's
Sure.
definitely hard to beat someone twice.
Right.
That's for sure. And actually one of our non-conference games this year is going to be Nova, and we're playing them home and away, and I think it's going to be good practice for the conference. But anyway, so I think we have a really good chance. We'll be competitive in all those games. It's going to be hard and it's going to be a fight, but I think we have a really good chance of fighting to win that pod. And then the top 4 make it to the tournament. And then when you're in the tournament, anything can happen, right?
Sure.
You just work hard. So I think we have some talent. We're excited about it. And we got some good goalkeeping that I think was something that we were missing a little bit last year. And we got a transfer. I think she might have done ODP, Kathleen Rivera. Anyway, I don't know if she did or not, but she's doing great. So.
Yeah, but there's a league championship, but there's no NCAAs this year.
Yeah, no, there's NCAA. Sorry.
Are there really?
Yeah, so the NCAA, when less than 50% moved, the NCAA moved to the spring. So that if you win your tournament, and then there's also at larges too this year. So not as many as normal.
So your season could go into May then?
Yes.
Wow. How about it? They talked about split seasons with the women, a fall and the spring season?
I think we want it like the men do, because I think it's just so having one game a week is so much better for your body. I mean, it's funny, we learned that the youth used to be like 2 or 3 or 4 games in a day, and now we even say, okay, 1 game a day is much better, and
Right.
And now even in college, now we play Thursday and Sunday, and even that's hard. So I just think playing 1 game a week would be amazing, and have like 8 games in one half, 8 in the other. The good part, so I know that our AD wasn't for it, and that's fine, that's fine, because it is really hard, but they're going to get a good idea of how it is this season. The only thing is we're having 16 games in the spring, which normally we wouldn't have.
I noticed you have sometimes 3 games a week.
Yeah.
Sounds like a high school schedule.
Yeah. I think our kind of philosophy is let's get as many games as we can. That's what we miss the most. And I mean, as like their health is our priority, but let's try and that's what all our players want to do is play a game.
Sure. Do you have camps at St. Joe's during the summer?
Yes. Normally what we do is the 2 days before the weekend before the preseason, we now just do clinics. So like a 2 one-day clinics over the weekend right before preseason. And our incoming classes come. So it's great because then the players, whoever's at our clinic, the athletes get to also be with our players, which is a lot of fun.
So I guess it's important if you're thinking about attending that you go to the St. Joe's ID clinics, correct?
Yeah, and we have normally we have like 4 a semester.
Okay.
So, but which we obviously aren't allowed to have right now until the dead period's over.
Okay, so if you were talking to parents and they're looking at various colleges, what's the bottom line you think in choosing a college to play and attend?
Well, I think you have to decide what's the most important, right? Like, so does it have your major, right? Like,
right.
Because if it doesn't have your major, or if you're like, for example, we don't have nursing. So if you think you might want to be a nurse, well, the track at St. Joe's is hard. You'd go to St. Joe's for 4 years and then go and get your master's somewhere else. So is it probably the right place? Probably not, right? So I just think that you got to look at your major. The other thing is, what does a college experience mean to you? Does it mean winning? Does it mean playing? Does it mean having fun? And what does having fun mean? Because sometimes you can be on a winning team or one of the best teams, but you're on the bench. Is that fun to you? And if that's fun, then fine, but you just have to figure out what that means to you and what's important to you.
Yeah, I think with a school like St. Joe's too, after you're graduating, the opportunities to work in the area and your connections with alumni, I think that's critical nowadays when you're going to a school. Just
I
finding
agree.
a job once you graduate.
And honestly, what's awesome about St. Joe's and especially our business program is like, I mean, all of my players are either on a track right afterwards, right? Like they're either going to grad school or they're, I don't know, going to like, for example, if you're in business, our business school pretty much has interviews for you the whole year. And most of my players who are doing internships just get hired by that internship that summer before.
That's
So
great.
that's one of the things. We haven't had a lot of education majors lately. I'm not sure why. We've had a lot of we're most of my team's usually business or this IHS, which is interdisciplinary health sciences, and they're going off to like become PAs or PTs or going to med school. So that's kind of the path.
Is there academic support for all your players during the school year?
Yeah, we have academic mentors, we have tutors, we have study hall, anything that really will help you get to where you need to, and even if you want, like we always say this, even if you do want to play pro someday, and amazing if you do, right? But you still are going to have
Right.
to have a job after that, especially to be honest, playing a women's sport, right? Like even Abby Wambach had to write a book to get money, right? So
That's true. It's
so
true.
you need to have a path. And I just think, St. Joe's definitely, through Philadelphia and our area definitely sets you up and which is really nice. And we have this amazing career center that also works with our athletic department and kind of helps build a path.
Yeah, well, knowing you and knowing the reputation of St. Joe's, I think parents should, if they're really serious about their daughters playing D1, should take a look at St. Joe's.
Thanks.
Anyway, thanks for being with us, but I think we have some questions. Bree,
Sure.
are you going to handle the questions?
Yep. Let me get this back up. All right, so we actually have a few questions that have come in as we've gone along here. So I will ask them. So the first one is, what are the different fitness tests you have for Division I, and what are some of the times that you need for a mile, 100 meter, and any other tests?
Okay. Well, the mile used to be my test, but we've kind of, and it used to be a 6:15, or to 6:10. So but I haven't done that in maybe 10 years. So, our fitness test, we do this test called the Man-U,
Yeah.
and you have to go down, like let's say it's end line to the next 18, not the first 18, but the next 18. It's about 100 yards. Let's just say 100 yards. You have to be down to that 18 by 25 seconds and back to the 60. So you do that 10 times. And then after 10, it starts to be 24, 60, 23, 60, 22, 60, 21, 60, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. And then it's 15, 15, 15, which is so fast.
Yeah.
So at each level of that is one. And honestly, to me, coming in, if I think you're fit, you should get between an 18 and 22.
Are there any repercussions if they don't meet your?
So this year was hard. Like, and I'm trying to not be as crazy as I normally am. So normally we'd have like breakfast club or something like that, but we decided to do a different path, and I actually like it much better. And it's better for your bodies. We're doing air bike workouts. So for everyone, you don't miss to like your standard, which we're saying you had to get at least 18. You have to do an air bike workout on your own time. So now you're doing the fitness you need to do to get yourself fit for the game, because that's the most why we're doing it, right? We're getting you fit for the game. So if you're getting less than 18, in my opinion and my strength coach's opinion, we don't think you're fit enough to play, so you have to do these extra workouts. So what's great about the air bike is it's good for your body. You're not like beating your legs up or anything
Sure.
like that. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. I think we're going to keep that for next preseason too, because it'd be silly. We used to do breakfast club and then we do a double session, and it just was too much. Like it's too much. It's not fair. And then the other thing is we do the yo-yo test. It's the Nike Spark yo-yo. You can Google it. honestly, we do, like, I had a girl get 52. I mean, that's nuts. She just got 52 but normally we used to say 32. I'd say 28 to 32 is fit.
That was a good question.
Yeah.
By the way, we sent out training activities to our ODP, and the Man U test was included, a 6-week program, just to let people know that we're keeping up to date with the ODP. What's the next question? Brenda?
Man U's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I guess that depends on who's
Yeah.
doing it. So the next question is, and I think you kind of answered this a little bit, but I think maybe they're looking for, like, in a typical season, what would a week look like? So it's just, what is your players' schedule like on the days that they're training, like workout days and recover days? So I guess they just want to know, like, what time do you train, in the morning, the afternoon, and then, like, with your game schedule on a typical week, what does it look like?
All right, I'll talk about, like, what it was last fall.
Perfect.
Like the fall, like in 19. Okay, so on Tuesday, so Mondays we're usually off. And then, but on Mondays, you need to, like, go to the trainer and get your treatment and stuff like that. Sometimes we'll have, like, our strength coach will have workouts if you want them. We don't care. We literally do not care, but it's good to take care of your bodies that day. Tuesday, and usually they fill up that day with classes like labs, double labs sometimes Monday, just because that's our day off. So, like, that's your probably busiest class day. Then Tuesday we practice, and we have that practice right now to around 9:30 to 12. And in that time, we used to do pre-practice meetings, which was, and now we just send this all in our group me, but we have this great software called Tactical Pad, and we show what our practice is and what our point of practice is. And it just kind of shows what our practice, anyway. And then we might have a little bit of film in our pre-practice meeting. And then we have practice. We honestly probably only practice an hour and a half, not more than that.
Makes sense.
Tuesday, and sometimes less, 1:15, something like that. Tuesday, we also probably run a little bit harder, especially in the beginning of the season. Once it comes to the end of the season, we don't run at all. Just depends on where our fitness level is and what our strength coach thinks we need to do. And Tuesdays, we also lift. So Tuesday's a pretty busy day. And then they have class the whole rest of the day. We like to do soccer first, usually. Like right now, we're having practice 9:30 and 7 a.m., 9:30, 7 a.m. But it's great because then but that's also because 4 sports are trying to be in season at one time. So, but
Sound like John Chaney.
yeah, no, he was 6. I was at Temple then. So, and then Wednesday, we would do a PPM before our practice. Normally we would practice noon to 2 so they'd have class, get treatment at 11. And then we do our pre-practice meeting 10 minutes before. We'll do a little bit of scout film as well because we have games on Thursday. Our pre-game practices are even lighter. And then they have class again. And then some Wednesdays we try and get them not to do classes because we usually travel. Again, our travel is really light this year, but normally we would travel on Wednesday nights. And then Thursday we have games. And then Friday we have a recovery practice usually. For the players who didn't play, we usually do like get them like possession or playing a little bit and do either yoga or something like that with the players who did get a lot of minutes. So it just kind of, we have our strength coach make all those decisions, and it's usually like a set amount of number beforehand. So there's no questions or any, thing like that. Saturday is a good practice that even though it's pregame, but we need to like prepare for our next game. So before our Saturday practice, we have a another pre-practice meeting that will have some scout film in it. We'll talk about our practice, and then they'll head out. They'll head out for the day. And then Sunday is our game. So that's what, and then, oh, sorry, what?
Full week.
Yeah, full week. And then Monday off again. And then in our off season, we go Monday through Friday, an hour and a half practice, lift or run, and then off Saturday, Sunday, unless with our 5 dates. So that's kind of how it goes normally.
So when you're playing soccer at St. Joe's, it's pretty much a full year commitment.
Yeah, because in the summers and the winters, we have this app called Team Builder, and all your runs and all your workouts and lifts are on it. So it's great. You wake up in the morning, you have an email and say, hey, here's your stuff to do today. And you're all set.
To take a look at that app.
It's great. Yeah. Team builder.
Okay, Bree.
All right, so next one, and you talked about this, but they might have missed it. Do you have any clinics that high school freshmen can attend?
Yes, but not yet. So I think that we're hearing rumors that the dead period, there's going to be a quiet period first, which means that people are going to be able to come to our campus. So then if that happens, we'll have clinics, but we won't have them until everyone's seasons are over. So probably May or June. Right now we're going to have one the 2 days before our preseason. So usually the last week of July is our plan, like the last weekend in July.
And all that information is usually just right on your website, right?
Yeah, we just don't have it up right now because it's such an unknown right now. So we'll probably put our camp information up soon, and then we'll add a clinic once we know the dead period's lifted.
Yeah, so guys, if you're interested, just make sure you just frequently check that website.
Thanks,
Okay, so next question. Do you look for players who are more of goal scorers or more of defensive minded players?
Oh, I guess it just depends on what I need. So I like both. I mean, who doesn't? I like both, right? Like I love tough, gritty defenders. I love them. Like that year that we were in 2016, we had both. We had a Dakota Mills or an Emily Gingrich who were like very attacking and love to score and were just so creative. Because you don't win if you don't score goals, but you also don't win if you don't keep the ball in the net, right? So, and then I also love like a tough, hard-nosed defender. So I'd say both. What stands out to me the most, honestly, when I'm watching is just I personally love really technical wide players. So that's always going to be one of my, I don't know. I played outside mid, so I don't know if that's why, I don't know, but that's always what stands out to me. But I love how you carry yourself. Are you trying to win the ball how are you talking to your teammates? How are you talking to your parents? How are you talking to your coaches? Are you winning the ball when you lose the ball? Are you winning the ball back after you lose the ball? And then to me, I like quick, fast possession, honestly, but that's not going to make or break me. For me, I usually like either, I guess those are the things that I'm looking for.
Yeah, great answer. Okay, so this next one, I'm going to ask a question before I ask this question because it's about juggling. Do you value things like juggling in your program, or do you have any kind of like skill type of measures that you use within your program?
No.
Okay.
I mean, no to the skill thing. When people are good at juggling, they usually have good feet and good touches. So yes, I definitely love really technical players, but but I have this forward right now, Morgan Bauer. She could probably juggle one or two, but she is really fast and really hard and can. It's just you need a balance, in my opinion. So like she has been all conference twice. So she's just a hard-nosed goal scorer. She just scores goals differently, so, but I couldn't have a whole team of Morgan Bowers.
Right. Okay. So next question, this is actually our last question, unless somebody adds in another one here. This is kind of like a tough question too, but the question is, what teams do you get players from? I know you talked about like the areas that you go for. Do you have, I don't, that's kind of a tough, you know what I mean? Answer that one.
Well, I used to get a lot from FC Bucks, but my husband was the director coaching FC Bucks and I used to coach at FC Bucks. So that was, I guess, so I used to have at least one, player. I mean, I definitely have had one player a year for the past 8 years there. So, but now I'd say pretty, like right now, they're all from different areas, which is, I mean, they're all from Eastern PA and South Jersey. Like if you had looked at my roster, the main players, like not the main, but just the majority of players are from those two areas. So I wouldn't say I look at a specific area. I just look for standout players and I try and see as many. Like for me, sure, we'll look at the bigger club names, but I also like to go to EDP tournaments. Like Emily Gingrich, I saw it. She was one of our best players we ever had, and she played for FC Revs, which is a great club, and but I saw her at EDP. So, a tournament. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't like one of those big tournaments. It was one at Tuckahoe Farms, and
Sure.
that doesn't matter to me. We just want the best players.
Yeah. So we've actually got two more people that popped in with questions here. First one, what's the typical time commitment for a freshman player? So I think that's probably more just asking, like, how much free time do they actually get?
In season?
Yeah, because you kind of went through like what the week is, and like it sounds like, obviously they're very busy between school and soccer, but do they get free time? Do you think they have free time?
Right now? No. I mean, right now, so it's hard because yes, I don't know. You ask me and ask one of my players,
Yeah.
might be a different story. But yeah, I think they get plenty of, in their off season, they definitely get, like, they get the full weekend. They can go home. They can go to the city. We have the city right there, which is awesome if you want to use it. There's tons of things to do on campus. Like, they've been doing so many amazing things on campus. We just had a winter fest. So I'd say yes, you just have to make the most of your time. The only thing I do have to say, to be honest about, is in season, it's like you wake up, you have class, you have soccer, you eat, you study, you sleep, and it's like that, but playing Thursday, Sunday, even I have, like, and I'm talking a year ago, would go out to eat on Friday nights in season, like and Saturdays, if we played home, Saturdays we practice in the morning and you have all day. So there's stuff to do, and meet people and stuff like that and hang out. Right now, they're only allowed to hang out with their teammates in their grade, in their household, which is whoever they're living with right now. So they have a social life. They're just doing more things like paint by Friday night and paint by numbers and bingo and things like that.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So I actually got a follow up to that one. So I might have misinterpreted how they meant that. But the question is, do you allow your freshman players to get a lot of time on the field, or do they stay on the bench mostly for their first season?
Depends on the freshman player. And I don't mean who, I mean what they're doing. If I have a freshman that's coming in and making an impact, like I've had really good freshmen that mentally are just struggling. Like, it's really hard to be a freshman. I don't mean as a soccer player. I just mean as a college student. You're coming in, you're leaving your best friends, you have all new people, you have a whole new team, you have new coaches you're getting used to, new classes you're getting used to. So it's really hard and a struggle. So some people are great and can handle it, and some people just really struggle and end up doing a little bit better in their spring season and get more confident and stuff like that. So when we have freshmen that play like a senior, they'll start. I don't care. I don't look at what grade. We had, like, usually the practice before games, I pick starters and not, like I usually do our starting team against who I think would be our starters the next game. And I had 2 freshmen in it. One's from PA, and both have been playing, like, you wouldn't notice them in a senior. They're just doing awesome. So
yeah, great. Okay. So last question here. Actually, I lied. Another one popped in. I'm sorry. This one's a quick one. Do you allow your students to miss a certain number of practices for schoolwork? So like if they have a class or like a lab or any kind of homework assignment or something like that, do they ever get to miss a training session or a soccer event?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that. So let's say I have 2 senior, so not really. They need to learn how to time manage, and they need to learn how to be able to handle all of it at the same time. So I've had, like, this year, I have 2 players because I wanted a certain practice schedule and just what was crazy about what's happening. So I have 2 seniors that I don't have a choice about. One's missing a lift and one's missing a practice. So, like, if it's the only thing, like I always say, is it the only thing you can do? Talk to our academic advisor. If she says it's the only thing you can do to because my goal, you need to graduate in your 4 years, right? Like, that's your goal. So if that's the only path you can take, then yes, you can miss practice. In the spring season, we do this thing called a me day, and I'm talking our off season, and because again, mental health is huge, and if someone is like literally going to lose their mind and they just can't take it and they're freaking out, then they just call me and text me and say, hey, I need a me day. It doesn't happen that often. They really take pride in the me, you know what I mean, and whether they're taking it or not. But if they're taking it, I know that means they're need it, you know. And so I said the only question I ask is, are you okay? And do you need to talk to Dr. Andrew, who's our sports psychologist? And usually they're like, no, I just really am behind and I need to catch up. I'm not saying like if we've had in the past that happen in season 2, but usually it's because us and the academic advisor have to make a plan for someone. So obviously I allow it, you know, it's just, you know, we try not to have that happen. We try and time manage and work on that stuff first.
Yep. Okay, last one, I promise this time. Do you have a lot of players that came through the ODP program? That might be tough to answer. Not sure if you know that or not.
I definitely have had them, especially if they were young, you know, like I feel like a lot of people started out that way. I know we definitely have looked at plenty of, like we've definitely recruited tons of people in the ODP program, you know, and especially like people who've gone on to regionals or at regional camp. One of my assistants, Fred, works for the regional ODP, so he gets to see like basically all PA all the time when he's there, you know. So in general, so we're always looking. So but I don't really know who
you've had one recently, someone that I know. That should be a good hint.
Ashley? Grace, you're talking about.
Yeah, Grace. She played ODP, and I think she played on the regional team. I don't know, maybe is that how you got to know her, through Fred on the regional team?
No, I used to be FC Bucks coach, and she guest played for me once.
Okay, I was gonna say, because she was a kid that played USYS and then did ODP, so she never played in an ECNL or a DA team.
I only know because I used to club coach, and I asked her to guest, like she was friends with girls on my team, and she guessed it. I was like, oh, okay, she's good. Which she's
you just got to make the most of your opportunities.
Yep, you do.
Yeah, so this was really great. I really appreciate you taking the time to answer these questions for them, and then obviously your conversation with Mike. Thank you to both of you for giving this to the ODP players.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Jess, great to see you again. Good luck with everything. As a Strathaven grad, I'm real proud of you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Congrats, Mike, by the way.
What's that?
Congrats. I forgot to say that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Bye.